the truth in organizational settings.
What ethical dilemmas are we dealing with today? Well, we're going to talk about public relations. We're going to talk about corporations that may have diminished truthfulness. This is because they withhold information from the public.
Apparently, all information that's given out in TVs and radio is all from the point of view of the company, and it's not of your point of view. Visitors that are on websites, they have what some may call false advertising. When you see a Facebook page or a Twitter account that's not necessarily written by the people you actually think they're written by, that's a form of telling the truth in an ethical setting, or not telling the truth in an ethical setting, in any organizational setting. Here with me is my friend Paul.
Hello.
And I'm going to talk to him about some ethical standards by which we can involve in our lives. I'm going to talk to you about who's the boss in a corporation. There's been a certain case where a CEO by the name of John McKay, he requested for a merger with Wild Oats. And what he did is he put out on a website that he wants to buy Wild Oats for a certain amount of money. It's like $538 billion. And he put that out there. But what had happened was the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, came and said, no, you can't do that. And they sued them. And so what ended up happening is the merger was never completed because they released information that shouldn't have been released. You think that's right? So the question I have for you is it ethically wrong to lie about a company business?
No, definitely not. I mean, if anything, you're ultimately kind of, putting yourself and the company as well at an all-time low.
So you're somewhat losing credibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Then I have another question for you. Is would John McKay, in doing this, saying that he wants to buy out Wild Oats, was he right in doing that, or was he wrong in doing that?
I believe he was right in doing that. I mean, it was a business. I mean, ultimately he was just trying to make money. Mm-hmm. I don't believe he initially had any intentions to, I don't believe he had any bad intentions to put forth towards the company. He just wanted to merge, kind of take control.
Okay. Private issues and public apologies. I'm pretty sure you've heard about the Tiger Woods case.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, about the whole scandal and along those lines. How do you think companies like Powerade and Nike feel for having their spokesperson come off in such a way that they're not used to, come off in a way that they're not expected to see?
I think it definitely gives them a bad image. And for a while, I know after these actions took place, I feel like they didn't want to work with them maybe for a while. They try to use the athletes that have already a good image within the world and society. They use them as a tool to kind of sell their products, set themselves as a role model as well as their company and their products. I don't believe Tiger Woods had any intention to actually do. It was just bad timing.
Yeah, I understand.
Ultimately, it was bad timing.
I mean, we all love Tiger, to be honest, And when I think about it, a lot of other prominent people, like public figures, like Clinton, actually did the same thing.
He did.
Yeah, he lied about the scandal with Monica Lewinsky. And we think that's just a small notion now, but back then in the 80s, of course, is a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. On to the next case. We're going to talk about posting on Twitter, truth-telling or not truth-telling on Twitter. When you see a Twitter account and you think, oh, there's a celebrity I really like, and you start following them, do you automatically think that it's that celebrity?
Most of the time, I guess I don't think about it too much, but every now and then it does cross my mind because maybe sometimes I'm looking for some positive feedback, some uplifting, somewhat. The times it has crossed my mind, yeah, I've pondered, and I feel that celebrities and such, they probably do have someone to monitor their accounts and actually probably do post for them. I hope they don't, but I'm sure they do every now and then. I don't think it's that much of a moral dilemma, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's too much of a bad thing. A question about the Twitter accounts, I mean, I do every now and then ponder as far as if it is the actual people posting, controlling their actual account. How do you feel about that, on your opinion?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, honestly, I don't really get into Twitter as much, but when I did back in the past, I kind of felt like I knew what they were talking about. And I kind of felt like, oh, this person has to be the account, because I mean, I follow comedians, and I always follow comedians, and I think, well, this mindset, I follow Will Ferrell, for an example. Only I think of things that he would write, and I think, well, only Will Ferrell could write this. But then again, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Maybe Will Ferrell has writers, and maybe his writers are the ones who's posting the account or posting the tweets.
Yeah. No, I mean it's always in all opinions. It's always actually a good option. I think it could have somebody else posting, controlling their account, but I would kind of think I mean, we're not celebrities. I'm not a celebrity, but I think if I was, that would be one of my that would kind of be one of my few outlets to actually just let loose and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So that's why I think about that when I'm kind of doubting myself. Yeah.
It's your way to
Express.
Yeah, your way to express yourself to the outside world, or to the rest of the community.
I mean, it is the internet. I mean, right now there's not really too many regulations really as far as to what they can and can't post. So if they have something to say, they can say it on there.
Great words from a great man.
All right, now we're going to talk about our next couple of cases here. Walmarting across America. This was a scenario that took place around 2008. There was a couple that was driving cross country to visit some family.
Oh, Jim.
And,
yes.
Yeah, Jim.
Yes.
Remember that story?
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to blog about their travels, give updates, have comments, take comments from people, just let them show how their travels were going. And every now and then, every night, they would park in the Walmart parking lots along their travels. Now, a publicist, an outside party, took the role in also, in a way, mimicking their account and started posting and blogging out to the world about their travels, when he knowingly, was pretty much not with them during their travels.
He wasn't supposed to be a part of it.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be a part of it. So, this gentleman in particular, too, that was the publicist, the outside party, worked within the corporate side of the company with Walmart. I guess, how do you feel this, if at all, would be any kind of moral dilemma?
Well, I feel like, because the name of the whole foundation was Working Families of Walmart, they're appealing to the employees that are actually in Walmart, and they're seeing how they actually themselves will communicate with each other, how they react to certain situations. But when you pit a publicist who's working for inside the corporation of Walmart, who of course is going to have a bias with whether or not these people are going to look good, or they're going to have somewhat of a good attitude of Walmart. Of course, it's always going to sound good on the computer from a publicist than of a family, of a working family who's been working for Walmart for so many amount of years. I think personally that they shouldn't have done that, because a publicist is working for a company, and a worker is working for Walmart. Now the difference between the company Walmart and the family Walmart is completely different. When we put those two together, it's somewhat like of a disaster, because it's a cluster of things you don't want to be. Because once you separate the family and the company, then everybody's gonna be happy.
This one deals more with PRSA, if you haven't heard, the Public Relations Society of America. Now, prior to them laying down this policy, most organizations and independent organizations or people would film these VNRs, these video news releases, and actually have them posted and air them, broadcast. However, the PRSA says now that they need to disclose, release any, if any, information that they got, their source of information, and as well as label all the material provided, kind of like the credits you see in movies. So saying that they would have to label any material provided by any corporate or non-editorial sources.
Okay.
However, a bit of a contradiction. There's a clear policy that in society the government lays down that no organization can be stripped of any
Information.
and should not have to release upon request. There's
Mhm.
there's no way that they can be ordered to release the information when doing DNRs.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about that? If it is,
Well, I honestly think that because the news is trying to report the news, they're going to try their hardest for their news station to get the story out before any other news store. But when they do this, when they have these gatekeepers that are trying to get the news stories out to other people, well, I mean, it's just going to discredit the other news stories, the other news programs, or the other cable news networks that are trying to get stories out there, because they're going to get it a little bit later than, I guess, the primary news source.
Yeah.
So I'll never understand why people want to do that. I mean, what you're doing here is I could see where you're giving credit to the main news source, but in the end, you're not really helping the other news programs at all, because you're just giving them, I guess, the backup news. You know?